me call, we'll schedule something. We'll make it work.
Very good.
Get some of those other projects done. What I'm thinking, to be honest, is if they don't do anything with the marriage funds that they've got with local
You didn't have any
especially not.
items right
Yeah, I
now.
don't think that's a chance anyway.
That was all stuff out there that says these are the major H projects, that work, here's what we've done, here's what we've done. As long as that's not happening,
Pay much attention.
you're not gonna get any more.
What time is that scheduled? Must be 6 o'clock. It's gonna be 9 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know.
See,
It's not gonna be on till 9 o'clock tonight.
Oh, doesn't that a bummer?
40.
You watch that?
A bit, yeah.
We used to watch it. And Charlie was, I guess, I didn't see it. I guess it's about the same thing.
City.
Different.
appreciate it.
She doesn't want to go surgery. I've got her under,
This is the one that you signed before, the number and something, correct?
oh, yeah, I was supposed to come back in on Monday, and I said,
Nobody, oh, that's fine. You sound better.
I haven't coughed. That it? Me too. Public notice. Is this tonight? So this is just, I'm just gonna have Dave read that. Say Cleve? Oh. Never mind, he's working with. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call the January 28th meeting of the Placerville. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Ms. Zito?
Vice Mayor Borelli is noted as absent. Mayor Hagan,
Here.
Councilmember Patton,
Here.
Councilmember Thomas,
Here.
Councilmember Wilkins.
Here.
Thank you. Any announcements or presentations to the public? I know Wendy Thomas, former mayor, former Miss Mattson.
All right, thank you, Mayor Hagan. Have an exciting announcement. We are getting some more concrete information about the Benjamin Moore Paint What Matters program, so that's very exciting. Had a meeting with them today, and have some important stuff to share with you, so I wanted to do it up front rather than wait till council member reports. Would like to encourage everyone and invite them to come to Town Hall this Thursday from 6 to about 7:30. And we actually will have a representative from Benjamin Moore here on site, and we will be having a community meeting. Encourage all property owners of downtown and all tenants of downtown especially to come, as well as interested community members. We'll be getting nuts and bolts details. They're finally coming, which is very exciting. And you will meet Eric, who will be our Benjamin Moore boots on the ground rep. He's been here this week. He will be here all next week, and he will be living here for about 3 to 5 weeks when they're painting. So acquaint yourself with Eric and show him some good old-fashioned Placerville hospitality, because he's going to be a good friend to us. What's really important is that property owners need to get their lead testing permission forms signed and turned in by this Friday, no exceptions. Benjamin Moore needs to be able to test, and that testing will start next Monday. And they will be here to test all the buildings downtown for lead from Monday to Thursday. And misconception is that property owners a few are reluctant to sign this. They say, gosh, if I sign this form, will there be a black mark against my building because I have lead? Will it be thrown out? No, they probably all have lead. Paint before 1978 had lead, and we're not a new community. So it's not a news flash that there is lead downtown. And they're ready to handle it. It's not a big deal. Benjamin Moore has a primer that's for lead-based paint. It's not a big deal. But yeah, it's something that you have to cross your T's and dot your I's. So to that effect, another exciting bit of information is that because Old City Hall is not occupied by the government, they will repaint Old City Hall, which is awesome. So the Ketchup and Mustard building will be repainted, and we will be they will be conferring with you, Mr. City Manager, and it will remain the Ketchup and Mustard building. It'll be a much prettier Ketchup and Mustard building. So to that effect, Mr. Morris, if I may give you the lead testing permission agreement, so please fill that out, sign it,
No,
and
I want to pass the attorney first.
yes, yeah, and get it back to us by this Friday so we can include Old City Hall in that. So thank you for that. Also, we have a firm date for the start of the painting, and we will be having a kickoff party ceremony on Monday, April 14th at 10 a.m. Our painting will commence. And we will be having a community breakfast, a ceremonial first brush stroke, and the celebration will begin. The painting will continue the rest of April, and we will be having a reveal party in May. The Placerville Downtown Association will be voting this week, I believe, on, there's 2 dates in May for our big reveal party, which will be an extravaganza, very fun. So, come Thursday night for more details, but I'm excited to have these concrete details to start with. So, encourage property owners and tenants to sign your forms and come to our meeting on Thursday, and we'll paint what matters, which is Placerville. So, thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor.
Any other announcements tonight? Okay. And I know there was announcement went out by the police department this morning, and it just had to do with a fire over on Woodridge Court. And but I'm assuming that's all been taken care of, and there's investigations going on both by the fire marshal and by the city PD. And other than that, I think there were some homes that were lost, or some they're uninhabitable. About how many units were lost altogether?
Yeah, I think there was approximately 5 units impacted.
Okay.
The source unit where the fire was, and 4 other units, the Red Cross was helping displaced residents. And investigators are still
Yes.
following up on witness statements, evidence, et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
Was there any injuries or anything?
Yeah, there were 2 significant injuries. The individuals, 2 adults that were taken to UC Davis Medical Center, and 2 other individuals that escaped without injury. And I believe it was a dog that ran out the back as well. So that I believe we just located about an hour ago over in the area. So
Good. Okay. Well, again, thanks to your staff and the fire units for their quick response on that. Closed session report?
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. The council did not take reportable action in closed session this evening.
Okay. And adoption of the agenda, please.
So moved?
Second.
Okay, seeing no changes needed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous? And you got them, I'm sorry, first and second, okay, can you hear over there, Ms. Zito, the motion makers?
I believe it was Councilmember Thomas and Councilmember Patton.
Great, thank you. I don't have any ceremonial matters scheduled. At this time, it's time for public comment. First would be written communication. Have we received any written communication from anyone? None. And under oral communications, then anybody in the audience wishing to speak on any subject not on our agenda, which is fairly light tonight, please come to the microphone, podium. Seeing nobody rushing up, I will move on. At this time, we'll move to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and will be acted by one motion by roll call vote unless any member of the council wishes to remove an item for discussion. So at this time, any council member wishing to remove an item?
I have amendment to the minutes.
Want to amend the minutes?
I would like
Is it
to
a
amend the
minor
minutes.
correction?
It's minor, yeah.
Okay. You could tell Ms. Zito afterwards.
Okay.
And anybody else? Yeah, what is it?
Okay.
They spelled your name wrong?
No, they didn't. I don't want to claim I was anywhere that I wasn't.
Okay.
So in the minutes, it says, well, what I had said was that I was at the Boys and Girls Club fundraiser, but in the minutes, it says that I was at the New Year's Eve ice rink party, and I wasn't there.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, so your husband's the one who wanted this corrected. Okay, now we know. Excuse me. Sorry, I just couldn't resist that one. With that correction, do I hear a motion on the consent calendar?
Move for adoption.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded on the consent calendar. And so at this time, I'll open to public comments. Any comments by anybody on any of the items under the consent calendar?
Good evening, Michael Drobish, Placerville. Just on the 8.5, the Western Placerville interchanges, the new off-ramp and on-ramp lane, dividing that with the existing lanes, there's double striping and double reflectors with these
Yes.
large carve-outs for the reflectors that are recessed. I'm just wondering if those could be backfilled in any way. They are they're like brand-new potholes every 10 feet, hitting them at...
They're kind of like, from my perspective, they're kind of like they get filled with snow. So
yeah.
at that point, they'll be full.
Yeah, I
but they're
bet a
kind of
motorcyclist would love that when they fill
Yeah,
with
but I
ice.
think because of the types that are this, and the size required, that is what's required. I could ask our engineer, so that's the only question on
Yeah,
that?
if it's, that was a question, if it's required or if there's any way they can be reduced in some way, because they're kind of a public safety hazard as they are. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. As long as we have a minute, would you mind just answering that
I
general
did
question
notice
about
that they do provide a rough ride, transitioning from the number 2 lane into the auxiliary lane. And I questioned the RE on the project, the resident engineer, and they are installed to state spec depth. The carve-outs are longer, and it was decided not to require the contractor to. The fix for that would be substantial. It would be repaving a significant portion and regrinding, because you wouldn't want to fill just a small portion that would not be durable. So
Right.
the decision was made that they were as close to state standard as they needed to be.
Okay.
And yes, the width, they're double wide for that differentiation between the through lanes and the auxiliary lane. So that's
Yeah.
why they're a little more,
So
you
whether
feel
they're
them as
painted, whether they're painted or whether reflectives,
well, they would have to be reflective, but whether they're recessed or raised, the
Yeah.
decision was made based on the elevation that we'd get snow
right,
frequently enough that the plows
Take 'em off.
would take them off, yeah.
okay, thank you. Hope that answers your questions, Mr. Drobish. Can I have a roll call at this point? Motion was by Patton, second by Trish
Wilkins.
Wilkins. I'm okay.
Mayor Hagan,
Yes,
Councilmember Patton,
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas,
Here? Oh, yes, hi.
Councilmember Wilkins.
Aye.
This is not going well.
okay. We have no ordinances scheduled. We have a public hearing, 10.1, Mr. Rivas. We're asked to give us a recommendation, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff is requesting that the council continue this item, basically to a date certain. Staff is analyzing some of the comments received from the public at the last hearing that was held before the Planning Commission, and we're working with council, working with SACOG, working with HCD on certain questions on how we're going to come back to the council with various recommendations, and so we ask for the continuance.
Okay. Any questions of staff? Okay. Any questions from the public?
My question just is, with continuing it, will there be enough time if council desires to make some additions or changes? Will you have a chance to before ultimate deadline due to HCD?
Yes, we're working on that. And we're aware of those deadlines. Okay, have a motion to continue this to a date certain of February 11th, please.
So moved?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimous. We're at council reports. There are no 10 and 11, I'm sorry. Item 11, there's nothing for 11. Item 12, council reports. We'll start with Ms. Wilkins.
On the 15th, I attended a Habitat for Humanity meeting. On the 18th, I attended a fundraiser for MORE, which was art and wine, and that was really fun. And on the 25th, which was Saturday, I played poker in the Hangtown Hold'em tournament, and I did not win, but I did win a raffle prize, and it was an alignment for my car, which I really need, so. Then I went to the Board of Supervisors meeting today. That's it.
Right. Ms. Bell.
Thank you. I attended a LAFCO meeting last week, which was sort of entertaining. But what I did also last week, which I thought was really, I appreciated it greatly, was this a joint meeting between the city staff and the Economic Advisory Committee and a member of our business community. And it happened to be a woman by the name of Deb Jensen, who's the executive director of the Eldorado Arts Council. And I really enjoyed, I always enjoyed Deborah. Deb, she has a way with words that unless you talk to her, you just don't quite get it. But she is very eloquent and puts into words these feel-good images, and talking about how the Arts Council can work with the city and create this functional relationship. I mean, the way that she talks, I love it, that how you collaborations and how difficult they are, but how necessary they are, because they strengthen each part of each entity in the process. But what she said, and I think that I hear it so many times, and I know everybody else out there hears it also. The universal thing that people say when I say I'm from Placerville is, I love that town. I hear it over and over and over again. And Deb Jensen said that, and goosebumps went up because I hear it all the time. And I'm so appreciative of Deb and what she brings to this community. And I think that this business attraction, this small group that goes around and talks to other businesses in the city, and how the city itself can help, the government part of the city can help businesses that are already here. You don't have to be a new business, and you don't have to be here for generations, but these ones that are kind of in between, I think that's a really positive step for our community we haven't always done, and I appreciate that the city's making the effort. Cleve was there, Pierre Rivas was there, and like I said, a member of the Economic Advisory, Chris Payne, was there. And it was just a really worthwhile investment of, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I felt really good at the end of it. And already I'm getting people, as I talk about it to people in the community, they're like, oh, how can I do this? Already 2 other businesses have asked, how can they do this? How can they do this? So if you're a business owner or out there and you want to have this service or this connection with the city manager and our development director, just contact Cleve Morris's office and get on the schedule. So anyways, I appreciate it, Cleve. I just want you to know.
Wendy?
Yes, just briefly, wanted to thank our city staff for the capital improvement workshop. Was that last week? Really enjoyed that. It was great information, and appreciate the community for coming out and all their very savvy comments. So I appreciate the opportunity to look at our revenue streams for this next year and how we can continue to fund the needs of our city. And wanted to alert everyone that thanks to Mayor Hagan, I will be on KCRA on February 9th. They've asked a representative from the city to come on a live show, which will be very interesting. It's just the Saturday morning show. It's a very small little segment, but they're going to profile Placerville. So Mayor Hagan called me up, and so at 8:20 in the morning on a Sunday morning, we will be highlighting Placerville for 3 glorious minutes. So if you're up, tune in. It's a Sunday morning show on KCRA. Yeah. February 9th.
I was going to do it, but I'll be in
sorry.
church. I told you I've got to be at church. And that is the truth. But anyway, all right. As far as I was involved, I had a SACOG Transportation Commission meeting and then the CIP workshop. And other than that, in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that's what I've been up to as far as city business goes. Mostly I've been home in bed or home watching, reruns. Yuck. All right, so at this time, we have no items pulled from the consent calendar. City manager and staff reports. We do have a continuation of our report on the status of our signs. Pierre?
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. Staff had reported to the council, I believe, a couple of months ago at one of your meetings in November, and you had asked the last meeting that we report to you again on the current status of the abatement of these pole signs that have been declared a nuisance by council action. I'm happy to report that what started originally as 22 pole signs is now down to 3. So we're going to basically file notice of noncompliance on those remaining 3. But I'm also happy to report that in addition to these particular signs that we've been going through the more formal process, staff was able to work with the property owners and bring 2 other signs that weren't on the list into compliance, and those are the clipper joint sign that was below the JED sign at the Carriage Trading Shopping Center. We also work with the property owner of the old Greyhound bus station up on Upper Broadway. There was a roof sign, and that roof sign's been removed, so we're happy that that illegal sign is also gone. So that's where we're at. Once we file the notice of noncompliance, then we'll probably then proceed of putting together a list of new signs. And these will be signs that have fallen into a state of non-conforming status. We'll bring it back to the council, and we'll then start again the formal process of asking the council to declare this new list of signs that we've identified as being a nuisance, and go through the long process of trying to either abate or bring them into compliance. So that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions you have at this time.
Pierre, has there been an outreach to the business community about what constitutes a conforming versus a non-conforming sign? Maybe just a little refresher course in what the ordinance actually says?
Staff has only worked with the individual property owners on a case-by-case basis, but no community-wide effort to define those terms.
Wonder if that would be worthwhile, only because I kind of see businesses come in that use vinyl banners or A-boards as their kind of their primary marketing. And anyways, just a thought. I don't know how the other council members feel.
Questions? Comments?
No questions. You proposing like a workshop to?
Well, we've had workshops, and then I know that in times past that the city development department somehow has gone to like the Placerville Drive Business Association or the Downtown Association and actually had a handout that was signs, you know, the ordinance, here's what's legal, here's what's not, or conforming, and here's what's not. And I think those kinds of things
That's a good
are
idea.
very helpful, because I think there's just people that don't know that their particular sign is illegal. And when you do it in a collective manner rather than singling out an individual, then everybody gets the same message at the same time. I know that one of the problems that I heard over the years was that, well, why should I be in compliance when so-and-so's not? Why am I taking that extra step to make a beautiful sign and then they're using a vinyl banner? So those kind of comments, I think if everyone hears the same information over, it's not a bad ordinance at all. It's not even onerous. It's just, this is what our community wants. And anyways, I would like to see a little bit more of an outreach to the individual organizations.
The last time this came up, prior to you being here, we talked about the possibility of either online or handed to the business when they come in to get a business license. Because one of the things that I found when a tenant of mine came in is they signed up, they got their business license, and then a month later they got a notice that, oh, we need to plan this, and we need this, and we need that. If that had all been presented at the time, it would have certainly tasted a lot better, if you know what I mean. In other words, where they're already in the building, they're already online looking for help. I know I need a business license, I know I need this. What else do I need? How else can we help that business owner get established? So I think just having those key things, and even if it's a small brochure and a reference to, here's on the website where you can look at our current sign ordinance. Here's common mistakes. Here's common problems. Just simplify it down in that department. So I mean, something we've talked about and kind of an easy thing. I like the one-stop shop. I like being able to do it online. But if they have to come down and give us cash, and eventually I know we're going to be able to take their credit card and or whatever over the phone, or over the internet, like we are at the recreation department, I hope. Then we just sign up for that for our water bills. We're working on that, right? So we're very close. Okay, so.
I do want to point out, Mayor Hagan, that staff does provide a handout to businesses that come in for a business license, and I believe that was implemented from previous discussions, probably post-development of our new sign ordinance.
Okay.
And the whole thing regarding the banners and the 8 boards and trying to control
Great.
that.
And the other thing is possibly there's a couple of places in town that make those banners. Why not offer them the ordinance, a copy of it? I mean, we could mail it to them or just give them a call and say, hey, I know you guys make these banners. If your client's going to be in compliance, I know it might cut into their cheese, but anyway, I think that might be a good idea. Thank you. Just simple. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the report. No other comments? Well, okay. Item 14.2, Mr. Warren.
Thank you, Mayor Hagan, council members. As you know, Governor Brown issued a proclamation declaring a drought state of emergency on January 17th due to California's record-breaking dry conditions. The governor urged Californians to voluntarily reduce their water usage by 20%. More information about the drought declaration and ways you can save water can be found at saveourh2o.org. As a water purveyor, the city encourages its citizens to begin conserving water by following some water saving suggestions. First, turn off your irrigation system for the winter. I know it's dry out there. Or irrigate your landscape only one time per week if needed. Inspect your irrigation system, repair any leaks, and adjust spray heads to prevent overspray. Use water sparingly when washing your car. Sweep paved areas rather than washing with a hose. Choose drought-resistant plants and shrubs when gardening. Run dishwashers and clothes washers only when full. Fix all plumbing leaks promptly. Install water-saving shower heads, low-flow faucet aerators. Purchase water-saving clothes washers and toilets when replacing them. Take shorter showers and turn off the water while shaving or brushing your teeth. Just a few tips. And as a reminder, El Dorado Irrigation District does administer a water efficiency program on behalf of the city. City ratepayers can request complimentary plumbing retrofits for self-installation and take advantage of EID's irrigation efficiency rebates. For more information about EID's water efficiency program, you can log on to eid.org. We do plan on posting the public notice that's before you on the city's Facebook page and website, and circulating a similar notice in the March utility bills. If the drought persists, additional notices with instructions will be made available to the public. And we appreciate everyone's help in conserving our most precious natural resource. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Any questions? Okay. Any upcoming items that we should be aware of?
We have a few items we're working on. One of them I'll mention is we will be bringing back the results of the workshop we had last Thursday. We'll bring that back to you on February 11th with some recommendations and seek council direction of what we may want to move forward with, if anything. So that will be coming back at that meeting. Looking of course, the housing element we mentioned tonight. I'm looking at my staff trying to remember what else we have. I think there's, Nate, you have a couple of items, I believe, coming forward. So
I might have something with the Blair's Lane Bridge, some utility agreements. Right. And when you're ready, I'd like to give an update on the Pleasant Street sewer replacement project too. Just
sure.
At this meeting.
Good. It's all right if he does that now, Mayor? Good.
So are you through with the?
Go ahead.
So I thought it'd be a good time to share our schedule and the status of that project that council authorized under an emergency status, the replacement of the Pleasant Street sewer. Last week, we received informal bids. I quasi-formalized it, and we were getting apples-to-apples bids from local contractors, so it's an invite bid. And we received 3 bids, and the low bidder is Winchell and Sons, and I'm familiar with them. They do high-quality work and are good to work with, so I'm excited to be working with them. And we have a pre-construction meeting tomorrow, and we're planning on getting started on Monday. And I wanted to apprise everybody that might be watching that, and we're going to send notices out to the residents nearby, but Pleasant Street is very narrow, and we'll be closing it at times, and we'll open up Arizona Street for a detour. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, and the project is scheduled to be 4 weeks. We're thinking that it will last. So if you have any questions about it,
Hopefully we have a little bit of rain delays in there somewhere.
yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Nate, can you just outline also, if you recall, council, you approved a budget of $250,000, I believe. Where did the bid come in at?
It was a $257,000 authorization, and the bid was $152,805. So we should
we're
got
a good price.
$100,000 for staff
well
time,
under
right?
what you approved, so.
The rest is staff time, right?
Okay, thank you. And then I noticed some street markings on Tunnel Street for a similar type of problem. It's for USA undergrounding? There's always been some kind of a leak coming from the county health department, or used to be the county health department puff unit.
I'm not aware of a project there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to solve that problem, so that's what the white lines are there for. We're trying to determine whether the leak is a private or public problem at this time.
Okay.
We think that there's actually a mine or something on the county property that's causing the problem, but we haven't been able to ascertain the location yet.
Well, they could open up another park.
Yeah.
Right. That's on the other end of the graveyard. All right, sir, thank you. Okay, seeing any other comments? Okay. At this time, then, we'll adjourn the regular council meeting today, and next regular council meeting is scheduled for February 11th at 5 p.m. closed session, 6 p.m. regular session. Hope to see you all then. Thank you. 5 p.m. closed session, is that right? 5 p.m. Well.